Welcome back to the Always Bayern Chelsea show, Tuesday, April 8th, recording this episode here right after Bayern Munich's disappointing and devastating loss to Inter Milan in the Champions League quarterfinals. This was the first leg. It was at home in Munich, so it definitely stings. This was a match that Bayern needed to win, in my opinion. The tie is not over. We go to Milan next week, Wednesday, for the second leg, and a lot can happen there. The final score was 1-2, so if we go there and win 2-0, we'll be advancing. But Bayern Munich needed to do more in this one. This is a video episode, so go ahead, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We do have a lot of awesome things going on right now. I just dropped an episode that was an interview with Oleg from the Radio Muller channel. He is the co-founder of the Bayern Munich fan club in Kyiv, Ukraine, so definitely go check that one out. Check out that channel. And even if you only speak English, you can watch with subtitles, which is what I do there. I will put any audio I get from Jim/video, but probably audio, let's be honest, and I'll find some dashing picture of Jim online, just like last time, and throw that in the end of this episode, because I know, Chelsea had that 0-0 draw to Brentford the other day, so I will get Jim's thoughts on that one if I can. Obviously, the schedule is just crazy right now with all these matches. Chelsea plays in 2 days as well in the Conference League, so we're really just doing our best here to pump out content, and Jim and I haven't been able to sync up like usual for a call, but we'll be back to our regularly scheduled programming eventually, although I am going to Arizona this weekend, so I'll have to watch our Klassiker down there in the sunshine, which, hey, I will not be complaining. Wisconsin Springs, If you live here, you definitely know, and if you don't live here, I'm sure somebody's told you, but obviously 70 and sunny one day and 20 and snowing the next. So here we are. I'll stop rambling on about stuff that doesn't matter and give you what you came for, which is my reaction to this match. First things first, man, it breaks my heart what Bayern's doing to Thomas Muller. It truly does. They are quite simply a better team when he's on the pitch. Only gave him 20 minutes or so in this one, and he scores the only goal in the match. So, I think that's pretty telling. I don't want to just come on here right away and just start bashing Kompany for it, or bashing the board, or whoever made this decision to not start Thomas Muller in this match, but it was the wrong decision. It was certainly the wrong decision. Muller is the perfect man to break down Inter's low block. His interpretation of space, his vision, his creativity, it's all perfect for a team like Inter. And I don't want to sound like I'm burying Rafa Guerreiro either, because I think he had a fine game, and on paper I can see the reasons for thinking he would contribute well to the attack. But, football isn't just played on paper, and Thomas Muller was your man for the day. So it was shameful to see that he's being kicked out of the club, and it was disappointing that he wasn't going to get the start in this one for his last ride, really, in the Champions League. But why don't I go through Vincent Kompany's starting lineup in full, because why don't we go through it like we always do it, and talk about each individual guy a little bit here. Starting off with the goalkeeper, Jonas Erbig was in between the sticks, obviously filling in for a injured Manuel Neuer, and I thought Erbig did all right. Certainly the first goal, nobody on earth is saving that. Second goal, he maybe could have done a little bit better with his read and his positioning and all that, but for a 21-year-old keeper who's coming up, from riding the pine on a Zweite Bundesliga side, Erbig has certainly impressed me so far in his tenure. And today I thought he looked confident. I thought he just had a solid match. And, a lot of our defensive struggles right now aren't on him, that's for sure. A lot of our defensive struggles are because we have an entire back line of injured players, basically, and the ones that are playing with each other for the first time. So, a lack of rotation throughout the year. This back line has absolutely no chemistry, and that's just where we are right now. It doesn't mean we're dead in the water. I still think our team is talented enough. I still think our attack can be good enough to, maybe get that win next week, but definitely carry us through for the rest of the season. So, that's where we kind of stand right now. But speaking of the back line, Konrad Laimer at right back. Again, the guy struggles a little bit positionally as a right back, but I thought he had a really solid game. I thought he was one of the best defenders all day. He was so dangerous with Michael Olise on that right side. Those two linking up, it really made me wonder what having Alphonso Davies healthy on that left side would have been like. I think that would have been totally a game changer. I noticed multiple times throughout the match how badly we were missing Davies, but we did have Stanisic as the left back playing out of position to fill the role of all of our injured left backs. I thought Stanisic did all right. I thought he did about as good as you can expect somebody playing out of position in a Champions League quarterfinal to do. No glaring mistakes from Stanisic, but yeah, I mean, he's not Alphonso Davies. He's not playing that kind of role that Davies does in the attack, and with the pace that Davies has to kind of recover for defense. Stanisic doesn't have that, so you're going to get what you're going to get with an out-of-position Stanisic for sure. But yeah, not a bad match. We did see Kim Min-jae and Eric Dyer as the center backs. Again, missing Upamecano, dearly missing Upamecano in this one. I thought the center backs did okay, but we did see a costly yellow card from Kim Min-jae. Unnecessary challenge, stupid challenge, just over-aggressive like we see Kim do all the time. And that yellow card actually is what Kompany cited for why he took Kim out early, and that had a huge impact on the match. That had a huge impact on Inter scoring the second goal. So, Kompany couldn't trust Kim to finish the match without getting another yellow after that first one. We've seen it since he's arrived in Munich. Kim has not been super dependable in terms of playing safe and not playing reckless. But I also feel for Kim, on the other hand, because he is so injured right now, and he's fighting through it all. I mean, the man, Achilles tendonitis, I talk about all the time. He was just sick the other week and was having back problems. So Kim is playing almost 90 minutes every match right now, just banged the heck up, and I respect him for fighting through it. I really do respect his spirit. But yeah, that yellow card costed us because Kompany couldn't trust him to finish the match. So that was that. The midfield I thought did okay as well. We had Leon Goretzka and Joshua Kimmich. Goretzka was almost invisible today, so take that as you will. Although part of Inter Milan's plan / this is just kind of their identity is just that low to mid block, and they really overwhelmed the midfield with numbers. So I thought that Goretzka and Kimmich did a good enough job controlling the pace of the game for large sections of the game at least, especially just being two guys in that midfield compared to how Inter was set up. So that's my thoughts there. The underwhelming attack was Michael Olise, who was actually, don't even count him in me saying underwhelming. Michael Olise was probably Bayern's best player on the day, I thought. But you had Michael Olise at right wing, you had Rafa Guerreiro at the 10, you had Leroy Sané at the left wing, and you had Harry Kane at the 9. Guerreiro, Sané, and Kane were just underwhelming. They didn't do enough, quite frankly. In a match of this magnitude, they needed to do more. They needed to finish their chances because Milan is so deadly on the counter. So in terms of how this match went, on one hand, I feel like, it's good that Bayern got all these chances and created all these chances and dominated a lot of the game. And you look at XG, what was it, 2.65 for Bayern to 0.9 to Inter. So you look at that and it's like, Bayern played great, maybe we can score 2 goals and get out of there next week and it'll all be fine. But the other side of that coin is that maybe Bayern was just playing into Inter's plan this whole time. Inter is a team that's so comfortable without the ball. They're so comfortable sitting back and defending and going off the counter. And both of Inter's goals came off of beautiful, lethal counters. So that's the other side of it, right? Like, was Bayern just tiring themselves out for Inter to pounce on these counters when those opportunities showed themselves, and they were going to show themselves with Bayern's back line, who has not played together at all really this season. So that's the thing. Like, now Inter is in such a good position to just go home next week and play their game, because this is what Inter dreams about, being up by 1 goal. Oh, that's like their bread and butter. They can just sit back in their block and defend all day. And Inter Milan is basically Bayern Munich's kryptonite, because Bayern Munich has struggled all season to break down a low block, and this is like the ultimate low block team. And I don't want to reduce Inter to that, right? They have a really strong midfield, and they're really good just playing through the center of the pitch, and using those wing backs, and then using their front 2 attackers to counter. So I'm not reducing Inter to a team that just sits back in a low block, but that is their bread and butter. So you kind of think Bayern played right into their hand with this one in a way, although you did see enough out of Bayern to know that, hey, if we just finish these dang chances, we're going to be in a better spot next week. So that's my broad overview analysis. Again, it feels like there's just a bad feeling, a pit in your stomach, if you will, if you're a Bayern fan, because to not win that one at home was devastating. But now going through the match a little bit more, the first about 25-30 minutes, I thought Bayern looked great. I thought they came out so strong. They were creating chance after chance, and I thought, man, one of these is going to fall eventually. But then we did see what could be considered the moment of the match, which was, Harry Kane just miss an absolute sitter. He fires it off the post when a striker of his caliber needs to put that away in a match like this. And Kane has played so well in so many big matches for Bayern Munich that I can't sit here and bury the guy, but I'm also not going to say that this wasn't a huge miss. It absolutely was a huge miss. And I don't know if Kane's ankle is still bothering him. Heck, he sprained his ankle last week, and he was just like, well, I guess I got to keep playing, because obviously Bayern doesn't really have any other options with the laundry list of injuries. But I don't want to sound like I'm making excuses, because Bayern's attack should still be better. Bayern should still have enough talent to win, and Kane should still be better, even with a sprained ankle, to make that shot, quite frankly. That's how much of a sitter it was. But that moment clearly let some of the air out of the balloon. It deflated the crowd. I think it deflated the team for a little bit. But you can't be so weak mentally that you let one miss totally tank your game. So that's kind of how I feel about that. But yeah, definitely a huge miss. And I should just go back and say, you know what, I'm going to give the moment of the match not to that, but I'm going to give the moment of the match to 1 hour and 15 minutes before the match, when the lineup dropped and Thomas Muller wasn't in there. That's my moment of the match. So yeah, you have that massive chance that Kane missed, and then in the 38th minute, Inter did strike first. Martinez got the goal off of, again, a lethal counter, like I said. It was a nice goal, and it really was the first good opportunity for Inter, and they buried it. And that is kind of the story of the day. Kim was just caught a little bit off guard, and I think Laimer also could have done better on that one. But like I said, Inter just plays these counters through the middle, and against a back line that is clearly struggling to communicate. These guys don't really know each other's tendencies. Like Laimer in this case was kind of playing Inter on, and like I said, Kim was just dumbfounded by the situation or whatever. And it's 0-1 at that point, and you really, you have. I don't want to say you don't lose all hope if you're a Bayern fan, because you see that this team is creating chances. They're just not putting them away. But you know that it's your stomach drops a little bit, because at this point Bayern is, like I said, potentially playing into Inter's hand. You're just dominating a lot of the match, but you don't have a single thing to show for it, and you are losing at the moment. So, like I said, we were missing Alphonso Davies there. We were missing Upamecano there, that's for sure. But we go into halftime, And, Bayern, I think, looked a little bit better in the second half, but also you could tell that they were getting desperate towards the end. Still, Thomas Muller is not coming on. And I don't want to sound like he's this god who can just win you any match whenever he comes on the pitch, but he comes on in the 75th minute along with Sacha Boey, Serge Gnabry, and then Zane, Kim, and Guerrero come off. Like I said, Kompany didn't trust Kim to continue playing on that yellow card, so the back line is totally in shambles at that point. It's in shambles in terms of communication and guys who really haven't played with each other, throwing Sacha Boey on that back line. Boey has hardly played this year, and he has been injured for almost his whole entire time since coming over in the winter last year. I believe Bayern paid 30 mil for him, so hey, like I said in my last episode, cutting costs only matters to Bayern Munich when it comes to Thomas Muller. It does not matter for any other player like Sacha Boey. And I really feel for the guy. His time in Munich hasn't been easy, so I don't want to just come on here and just tear him to shreds, but I'm still very upset about the whole situation with Thomas Muller right now. So, 85th minute, Thomas Muller gets the goal. It's karma, whatever you want to call it. It's bad juju, I don't know. But Thomas Muller comes on and gets that goal. Beautiful little cross in from Kimmich, who finds Konrad Laimer, and Laimer kind of chips up what is essentially a cross, and the ball finds its way to Muller's foot like it always does. And Muller buries that goal. Good assist from Laimer, good ball in from Kimmich, good goal from Muller. At this point, I'm overjoyed because I'm thinking, all right, with how this match has gone, a draw is a draw. It's the 85th minute. We're gonna get out of here with a draw and then go to Inter, kind of on a clean slate. Go to Milan, I should say, kind of on a clean slate next week. But man, I probably really sound like I'm pissed right now, and I'm not all that pissed. It's just, I think a lot of fans probably are sharing this sentiment. It's everything that's happened over the last couple of weeks surrounding Thomas Muller, and then he doesn't even get the start in this match. It's really brutal. And then he comes on and gets that goal, and then we still can't hold on to that lead. It's just like, oh my goodness, what's going on? Yeah, like I said, I'm happy for Muller that he gets that goal, but he's probably not happy because a few minutes later, Bayern's defense just goes to sleep. There's really no way around it. Sacha Boey tries to kind of run up and cut off a pass, but just whiffs, and then all of a sudden, Inter is off to the races, and Dyer's getting turned around trying to catch up to everybody, and I don't know why Boey did that. I don't know why he kind of ran up, because you had Goretzka and Stanisic there, and Dyer. Everybody was kind of too far up, in my opinion, because Bayern, I think, was really trying to get the win at this point. They saw, maybe smelled blood, and they saw that as soon as Muller came on, there was a whole new energy around the team, and we were getting chance after chance. Kane was getting more chances too. Gnabry had a chance or two when he came in. So I do want to say that Muller comes on and we're getting a lot more chances, so the whole back line is kind of, I think, pushing forward to try to get a go-ahead goal, and instead, everybody gets turned around, and Inter does score the go-ahead goal themselves, and right at the end there, and it's 2-1, so that was in the 88th minute, and like I said, Bayern Munich is just simply a better team when Thomas Muller is on the pitch, and it was the wrong decision not to start him. I just think you have to read the room. This is a moment for Thomas Muller. I mean, he averages a goal contribution every 130 minutes that he plays this season, and he hardly gets any playing time. So he's going to contribute to the team one way or the other. And the other part of it, too, is like, I can't even explain it, but Muller just has the magic. He just, like I said, interprets space, has that creativity, has that vision, and the team is just better when he's on the pitch. Whether any sort of nameless, faceless Twitter account is going to be out there, or any sort of numbers guy crunching, I don't know, pundit, whatever, is going to be out there, whatever they're going to tell you, push that aside, because in the Champions League, do or die moments, this team is better with Thomas Muller on the pitch, and that's just the fact. So I don't care about any other I don't care about any other opinion. No, I don't care about any other way to frame this right now, because he has to start next week against Inter. He really does. And I get it, he's used as a super sub, so he has fresh legs and he's going against tired legs. I get all that. But there's just something about Thomas Muller that right now you have to play him. That's it. End of discussion. He is ending his career on a sour note because of how he's being treated by Bayern, and it's such a shame because he's such a legend and he has enough to contribute. I can't say he has years and years left to contribute for this club, but he has enough to contribute right now, and you gotta play him. So that is how the match ended. Before I forget, let me say some match awards here, because I feel like I've been dropping the ball on that one. I've been forgetting to do a little segment or talk about the match awards at all. So, hey, let's do that now. I got the man of the match, Thomas Muller. No surprise, based off of what I said in this one. Realistically, he's more like a underrated fireball player, kind of coming in, getting that goal. But I'm giving him the man of the match because the guy deserves it. Robin, I'm giving to Michael Olise. I thought Michael Olise was Bayern's best player on the day. Overall, I guess I should say best starter, because Muller came in as a sub. Underrated, I'm giving to Joshua Kimmich. I thought it was quietly a good game from Kimmich, although he didn't necessarily break through at any point, but I think he held things down and helped a lot with dictating the pace of the match, especially in those sections where Bayern controlled things. So that's why I'm giving that one to Kimmich. And defender, I'm giving to Laimer. I thought Laimer was the best of the bunch out of the defensive unit, the back line, but not really a standout performance by anybody on that back line, but the way that Laimer and Olise were working together was really special at times. So those are my match awards. Now we played Dortmund already on Saturday in Der Klassiker in the Bundesliga. Really a must-win match for Bayern. Must-watch TV. A must-win match for Bayern Munich. And then we have Inter again next Wednesday in the Champions League. And It's going to be a fun rest of the season, but we got to stay healthy and we got to put our best foot forward. We definitely can. Like I said, our attack is deadly enough. It's talented enough to, if we can finish our chances, put away Inter next leg and continue on in the Champions League and continue on in the Bundesliga, because that's what we got to do. I'm sorry if I sounded pissed off at sections of this one, but we had to be better today, and some decisions really came back to bite us. So I think that's where I'm going to leave it for this episode. Thanks for sticking with us. I will throw Jim's thoughts about the Chelsea-Brentford match in there, but man, that was a boring match, 0-0, and Enzo Maresca decided this was the week he was going to rest people, I guess, so he put out a very weak lineup. I think Chelsea should be happy to get the draw, honestly, with the lineup that he put out. But obviously Chelsea wants to keep winning and wants to stay in that European spot, even in that Champions League spot in the Premier League top 5. So I was surprised with how well Chelsea's defense did in that match. I will say good for them. And I will let Jim, if he gives me any audio, kind of close us out here and talk about Chelsea. But that's what I got to say for this one. Thanks for sticking with us. Check out the Radio Muller collaboration video and check out everything we're dropping, because it's going to be a fun rest of the season. Let's put our best foot forward, like I said, and win some silverware. Mia san Mia.
Hello, everybody. This is Jim. This is Always Bayern Chelsea. And unfortunately, my job is to talk about Chelsea, a team that has so much potential, has so much electricity in the talent of their players, and has so much to look forward to in the future, but also in the present. And even if you look back to the past, it's a storied team. But right now, I'm unfortunately going to talk about the match against Brentford, this past Sunday. It's Tuesday now at this point, and we're going to be posting this episode after a tough Bayern first leg loss against Inter Milan in the Champions League. But my job is to talk about Chelsea, the team in London that wears blue. And I tell you what, it has not been easy because I know Chelsea has the ability to be an incredible team. I know that they can make Champions League for next year. I know that they can score a ton of goals, be defensively sound, and have a lot of fun while doing it. And unfortunately, that's not what they've done a lot in the year 2025. This match against Brentford, away in North London, could be West London, I forget precisely where it is, G-Tech Community Stadium. The Bees were buzzing. Chelsea has not performed well there at all. It's been one of their kryptonites in the Premier League. I don't know. I just don't know how I feel about Chelsea right now. There's so many players that Maresca chose to play that are so poor. So poor. I'm talking about Christopher Nkunku. I'm talking about Jadon Sancho. I'm talking about Malo Gusto. These guys are not great players as of right now. And it's tough for me because do I think they have the ability to be great players? Maybe. Maybe they do. But not with this Chelsea team. And I'm kind of being dramatic right now in the way I'm presenting this, but it's the way I feel. And these guys just grind my gears. I don't want to see them. I never want to see Christopher Nkunku again. Never. I really don't. If I never see him play another minute for Chelsea, I'll be happy. I can't do it. I cannot do it with this guy. He doesn't hustle. He doesn't press. He doesn't pass well. He doesn't shoot well. He doesn't get in the right spaces. What does he do well? Absolutely nothing. And I don't care that he has 17 goals and assists this year for Chelsea. Most of them are against scrub teams in the Conference League. It's tough. It's really tough. Cole Palmer is struggling right now. Everybody's struggling. Nico Jackson's slowly coming back. Same with Noni Madueke. It's so tough for me to watch this team right now. So it's tough to analyze because of that. So what I'll say about this match is that it was overall fine defensively. On the attack, you put up 21 shots, but ultimately you don't get a goal. So how much does that really mean in the grand scheme of things? I don't know. It's tough to say. This team is so different when Nico Jackson is back. What he provides with his runs, his hold-up play, so much better than Nkunku. So much better. It's night and day. So the second half was definitely a lot more encouraging. But I don't know. I struggle still to see what this team is doing. To see what Enzo wants them to do. Is it lack of attack? Lack of creativity? I don't exactly know. So ultimately, I'm not going to go into the weeds on this match. It ends up being 0-0. Brentford probably could have scored a couple and didn't. Chelsea maybe could have put a couple away as well, and they didn't. So it sucks because every match at this point feels like a must-win to try to get top 5. It's been confirmed today, now that Arsenal beat Real Madrid in that first leg, that Chelsea would get in to Champions League next year with top 5. That's what it will take. And Newcastle's most likely going to be ahead of us with a game in hand. City is going to be firing on all cylinders probably. Forest isn't going away. So will Chelsea have what it takes to take that last and final step to make top 5? I don't know. And we're moving into some must wins at this point. Ipswich, Everton, Fulham, and then some tough ones after that. So we'll see what happens. Everton in there as well. I want to do well in the Conference League heading up on this Thursday. I want to do well in the Premier League. But does Chelsea want to do well? I don't know. I really don't know if they have what it takes. And that's frustrating and really unfortunate to say. But it's the truth. It's the truth that I have right now in my life that I don't know if they have what it takes. So we'll see if they do. It's going to be very, very, very interesting. Yeah, that's about all I got. I think it's just really tough. It's really tough. Let's hope for the best. We got Strasbourg right now in Blue Co. doing well, top 4, so maybe that's what we just root for now. Nah, I can't do that. I mean, I do root for them, but Chelsea is my love. They'll always be my love, and they're the love that I need right now in my life. So let's hope for the best, and let's freaking hope Bayern as well can do it next week. I mean, come on. What are you doing, Harry Kane? You missing freaking wide open chances, dude? I'll never love you, Harry, but God, if there's one thing I want in this world, it's for my best friend, Danny, to find joy. And that joy for him will be getting a trophy. So please do it against Inter Milan in the next round. Please in the next leg. I beg of you. I beg of you. Mia San Mia, up the Chelsea.